You've got a dream inside of you. It's been there all along, whispering in the quiet moments, tugging at your heart when you least expect it. But here's the thing, that dream isn't going to chase you. You've got to be the one to go after it with everything you've got. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but I'm just a nice guy. I don't want to rock the boat or step on anyone's toes. Let me tell you something, being nice and being successful are not mutually exclusive. But there's a world of difference between being kind and being a pushover. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop being the nice guy who gets left behind and start being the good man who gets ahead. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. You see, the world doesn't reward people for being nice. It rewards results. It rewards value. It rewards those who are willing to stand up and be counted. And that's exactly what we're going to learn how to do. First things first, let's define what we mean by nice guy. I'm not talking about basic human decency here. I'm talking about the guy who's always saying yes when he wants to say no. The one who's afraid to voice his opinion because he doesn't want to offend anyone. The one who's putting everyone else's needs before his own and wondering why he's always coming up short. Yeah, it sounds like you, don't worry. We've all been there at some point. But it's time to make a change. It's time to stop being nice and start being authentic. Now, I want you to understand something crucial. This isn't about becoming mean or selfish. It's about becoming assertive. It's about having the courage to stand up for yourself and what you believe in. It's about setting boundaries and sticking to them. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I knew a young man named Tom. Tom was the quintessential nice guy. He was always willing to lend a hand, always the first to volunteer for extra work, always agreeing with everyone to keep the... And where did it get him? Nowhere fast. Tom was passed over for promotions. His relationships were unfulfilling because he never expressed his true feelings. He was burning himself out trying to please everyone else. Sound familiar? But here's where Tom's story takes a turn. One day, he realized that being nice wasn't serving him or anyone else. He decided to make a change. He started small, saying no to things he didn't want to do. He began expressing his opinions, even when they differed from others. He set boundaries in his personal and professional life. And you know what happened? At first, it was uncomfortable. Some people were surprised by the change, but soon something remarkable occurred. People started respecting Tom more. His relationships improved because they were based on honesty. His career took off because he was no longer afraid to show his true value. That's the power of authenticity. That's the power of standing up for yourself. And that's what I want for each and every one of you. Now, let's break this down into actionable steps, because knowledge without action is about as useful as a screen door on a submarine. Step one, learn to say no. This is perhaps the most crucial skill you need to develop. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a person who values their time and energy. It makes you someone who understands that you can't pour from an empty cup. Start small. The next time someone asks you to do something you don't want to do, take a deep breath and say, "I'm sorry, but I can't do that right now." It might feel uncomfortable at first, but I promise you, it gets easier with practice. Step two, express your opinions. Your thoughts and ideas have value. Don't keep them locked up inside because you're afraid of conflict or rejection. Share them respectfully but confidently. You might be surprised at how often people appreciate a different perspective. Remember, you're not responsible for other people's reactions to your honest opinions. As long as you're expressing yourself respectfully, their response is on them, not you. Step three, clear boundaries. This goes hand in hand with saying no. Decide what you're willing to accept in your personal and professional life and stick to it. If someone consistently disrespects your time, your work, or your feelings, it's okay to distance yourself from them. Boundaries aren't walls. They're fences with gates that you control. They allow you to let in what serves you and keep out what doesn't. Step four, seeking approval. This is a big one, folks. Nice guys often bend over backwards trying to make everyone like them, but here's the truth. Not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. It's not your job to make everyone happy. Focus on being someone you respect rather than someone everyone likes. When you approve of yourself, other people's opinions become less important. Step 5, take calculated risks. Nice guys often play it safe, afraid of rocking the boat. But growth happens outside your comfort zone. Start taking small risks. Apply for that job you think you're not quite qualified for. Share that idea in the meeting, even if you're not sure how it will be received. Ask that person out, even if you're afraid of rejection. Remember, every great achievement in history started with someone willing to take a risk. Step 6, learn to handle conflict. Nice guys often avoid conflict at all costs. But conflict, when handled properly, can lead to growth and better relationships. Don't shy away from difficult conversations. Address issues head on, but do it with respect and empathy. A good rule of thumb is to be hard on the problem, but soft on the person. Focus on finding solutions rather than placing blame. Step 7, prioritize self-care. Nice guys often put themselves last. But you can't pour from an empty cup. Make time for activities that recharge you. Exercise, read, meditate, pursue hobbies. Whatever it is that fills you up, make it a non-negotiable part of your routine. Remember, taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary if you want to be able to give your best to others. Step 8, embrace failure. Nice guys often play it safe because they're afraid of failing. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you can count. Start seeing failure as feedback, not a reflection of your worth. When you fail, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Then get back up and try again. Step 9, develop your skills. Nice guys often rely on being likable rather than being valuable. But in the long run, your skills are what will set you apart. Invest in yourself. Learn new things. Become so good they can't ignore you. Read books, take courses, find mentors. The more you know, the more confidence you'll have, and the less you'll feel the need to please everyone. Step 10, practice assertiveness. This is the cornerstone of stopping being a nice guy. Assertiveness is the middle ground between being passive and aggressive. It's about expressing your needs and wants clearly and respectfully. Start small. If your food order is wrong at a restaurant, politely ask for it to be corrected. If someone cuts in line, calmly point out that there's a line. Gradually work up to bigger situations. Now, I want to address something important. Some of you might be thinking, but isn't being nice a good thing? Aren't we supposed to treat others well? Absolutely. But there's a world of difference between being kind and being a doormat. Kindness comes from a place of strength. It's a choice you make because you value others. Being a nice guy in the way we're talking about often comes from a place of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of not being liked. True kindness, true goodness requires backbone. It requires the courage to sometimes say things people don't want to hear. It requires the strength to stand up for what's right, even when it's not popular. Think about the truly great people in history. They weren't nice guys in the way we've been discussing. They were kind, yes. They were compassionate, absolutely. But they were also strong. They stood up for what they believed in. They weren't afraid to ruffle feathers when it was necessary. Now, let's talk about how this applies in different areas of your life. In your career, stopping being the nice guy means no longer settling for less than your worth. It means negotiating for better pay and benefits. It means speaking up in meetings and sharing your ideas. It means taking credit for your work instead of letting others take the spotlight. In your personal relationships, it means being honest about your feelings instead of always trying to keep the peace. It means setting healthy boundaries with friends and family. It means being willing to walk away from relationships that no longer serve you. In your personal growth, it means pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. It means setting ambitious goals and working hard to achieve them. It means being willing to face your fears and insecurities head on instead of hiding from them. Now, I want to be clear about something. This transformation won't happen overnight. You're not going to wake up tomorrow as a completely different person. And that's okay. In fact, it's better than okay. Real. Lasting change takes time. Start small. Choose one area where you've been too nice and make a conscious effort to be more assertive. Maybe it's saying no to an extra project at work when you're already overwhelmed. Maybe it's expressing your preference for where to go for dinner instead of always deferring to others. As you start to make these changes, you might face some resistance. People who are used to you always saying yes might be surprised when you start saying no. That's okay. Remember, you're not responsible for their reactions. You're responsible for taking care of yourself and living authentically. Here's another important point. As you stop being the nice guy, you might lose some people from your life. And that's okay too. The people who only liked you because you were a pushover weren't really your friends to begin with. The relationships that matter, the ones built on mutual respect and genuine connection, those will only grow stronger as you become more authentic. Now let's talk about fear. Because let's face it, a lot of what keeps us stuck in nice guy mode is fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of failure. But here's the thing about fear. It's just a feeling. It's not a command. You can feel fear and still take action. In fact, if you're feeling fear, it often means you're on the right track. It means you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. It means you're growing. So next time you feel that fear creeping in, thank it for trying to keep you safe, and then do the thing anyway. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And every time you do something that scares you, you build a little more courage. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Now, I want to address something that often comes up when we talk about stopping being the nice guy. Some people worry that they'll lose their compassion, that they'll become cold or uncaring. But nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, when you stop being the nice guy, you actually become more capable of true compassion. Why? Because your kindness is coming from a place of choice rather than fear or obligation. You're helping others because you want to, not because you're afraid of saying no. Moreover, when you take care of yourself, when you honor your own needs and boundaries, you have more to give to others. You're no longer running on empty, constantly depleted by trying to please everyone. Instead, you're coming from a place of fullness, able to give generously without resentment. Let's talk about authenticity for a moment. Because at its core, stopping being the nice guy is really about being authentic. It's about aligning your actions with your true self, your values, your desires. When you're constantly trying to please others, constantly saying yes when you want to say no, you're living out of alignment with your true self. And that misalignment creates stress, anxiety, and a sense of disconnection. But when you start living authentically, something magical happens. Yes, it can be scary at first, but as you continue, you'll find a sense of peace, of rightness. You'll feel more confident, more grounded. You'll start attracting people and opportunities that align with who you really are, not who. Now, I want to share a powerful exercise with you. Tonight, when you're alone, I want you to take out a piece of paper and a pen. At the top of the paper, write "If I wasn't afraid, I would." Then set a timer for 5 minutes and write without stopping. Don't censor yourself. Don't worry about whether things are possible or practical. Just write. You might be surprised at what comes out. This exercise can be a powerful way to uncover the things you really want, the things you've been holding back on because of fear or because you've been too busy being nice to everyone else. Once you've done this exercise, choose one thing from your list. Just one. And commit to taking one small step towards it this week. Remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Small, consistent steps lead to big changes over time. Now, let's talk about success, because that's what this is all about, isn't it? Becoming more successful in your career, in your relationships, in your life. Success means different things to different people. For some, it might be climbing the corporate ladder. For others, it might be starting their own business. For others still, it might be having more fulfilling relationships or making a difference in their community. Whatever success means to you, I can guarantee you one thing: you won't achieve it by being a nice guy. You'll achieve it by being authentic, by being assertive, by being willing to go after what you want. Success requires you to step out of your comfort zone. It requires you to take risks. It requires you to sometimes ruffle feathers and rock the boat. In short, it requires you to stop being the nice guy and start being the authentic, assertive, confident person you're capable of being. Now, I want to address a common objection I hear when I talk about this. Some people say, but I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to put myself first. Here's the thing. There's a big difference between being selfish and having healthy self-interest. Selfish people only care about themselves. They're willing to hurt others to get what they want. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about having a healthy self-interest, about taking care of yourself so that you can take care of others. Think about it this way. When you're on an airplane, they always tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first before helping others. Why? Because if you pass out from lack of oxygen, you can't help anyone else. The same principle applies in life. You need to take care of yourself first so that you have the energy and resources to help others. So let's reframe this. Instead of thinking about it as putting yourself first, think about it as putting yourself on equal footing with others. Your needs, your desires, your goals are just as important as anyone else's. No more, but certainly no less. Now, I want to talk about resilience, because as you start to make these changes, as you start to stand up for yourself and go after what you want, you're going to face setbacks. You're going to face rejection. You're going to face failure. And that's where resilience comes in. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to keep going in the face of adversity. And it's a crucial skill for anyone who wants to stop being the nice guy and start being successful. The good news is, resilience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Every time you face a setback and keep going, you're building resilience. Every time you fail and get back up, you're building resilience. So embrace the setbacks. Embrace the failures. See them as opportunities to build your resilience muscle. Because the more resilient you become, the more unstoppable you'll be. Now let's talk about confidence. Because at the end of the day, a lot of what we're talking about here comes down to confidence. Confidence in yourself, in your abilities, in your worth. Nice guys often lack confidence. They're constantly seeking approval from others because they don't approve of themselves. They're afraid to speak up because they don't believe their ideas have value. They're afraid to go after what they want because they don't believe they deserve it. But here's the thing about confidence. It's not something you're born with. It's something you build, and you build it through action, through doing the things that scare you, through standing up for yourself, through going after what you want. Every time you do something that scares you, you build a little more confidence. Every time you speak up for yourself, you build a little more confidence. Every time you go after what you want, regardless of the outcome, you build a little more confidence. So don't wait until you feel confident to start making changes. Start making changes, and the confidence will come. Now, I want to talk about something that's often overlooked when we discuss personal growth and success, and that's the power of your environment. You've probably heard the saying, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. There's a lot of truth to that. As you start to make these changes, as you start to stop being the nice guy and start being more authentic and assertive, you might find that some of the people in your life are resistant to the change. They might try to pull you back into old patterns. This is where you need to be intentional about your environment. Surround yourself with people who support your growth, who challenge you to be better. Seek out mentors and role models who embody the qualities you want to embody. Create an environment that supports your growth and success. This might mean spending less time with people who drag you down or try to keep you small. It might mean seeking out new friendships and connections with people who inspire and challenge you. It might mean changing your physical environment to support your goal. Remember, your environment shapes you more than you might realize. Make sure it's shaping you in the direction you want to go. Now, let's talk about the power of your mindset. Because at the end of the day, stopping being the nice guy is as much about changing your mindset as it is about changing your behavior. You see, nice guys often have a fixed mindset. They believe their qualities are carved in stone. They're afraid to try new things or take risks because they're afraid of failure. They believe that if they fail, it means they're not good enough. But successful people, truly successful people, have a growth mindset. They believe that their qualities can be developed through effort and learning. They see challenges as opportunities to grow. They see failure as feedback, not as a reflection of their worth. Developing a growth mindset is crucial if you want to stop being the nice guy and start being successful. It's about embracing challenges instead of avoiding them. It's about persisting in the face of setbacks. It's about seeing effort as the path to mastery. So how do you develop a growth mindset? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to your self-talk. When you face a challenge, do you tell yourself, I can't do this, or do you say, I can't do this yet, but I can learn? When you fail at something, do you think, I'm not good at this? Or do you think, what can I learn from this? How can I improve next time? Start catching yourself in fixed mindset thinking and consciously shift to a growth mindset. It takes practice, but over time, it becomes more natural. Now, let's talk about goal setting. Because stopping being the nice guy isn't just about changing who you are, it's about going after what you want. And to do that effectively, you need to set clear, compelling goals. Nice guys often struggle with goal setting. They're so used to putting everyone else's needs first that they've lost touch with what they really want. Or they're afraid to set big goals because they don't want to disappoint themselves or others. But here's the thing. Setting goals isn't about guaranteeing an outcome. It's about giving yourself direction. It's about having something to strive for, something to move towards. So I want you to think big. What do you really want? Not what you think you should want or what others expect you to want, but what you, deep down, truly desire. Write it down. Be specific. Instead of I want to be successful, right, I want to start my own business and be making $100,000 a year within 3 years. Instead of I want to be in better shape, right, I want to run a marathon in under 4 hours by this time next year. Once you have your big goal, break it down into smaller, actionable steps. What can you do this month, this week, today to move towards that goal? This is the crucial part. Take action. Take action every single day, no matter how small, towards your goals. Because here's the truth, the difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. Now I want to talk about something that nice guys often struggle with. Self-promotion. Nice guys are often uncomfortable with self-promotion. They don't want to seem boastful or arrogant. They're afraid of coming across as pushy or aggressive. But here's the truth. If you don't promote yourself, no one else will. If you don't tell people about your skills, your achievements, your value, how will they know? Self-promotion isn't about bragging. It's about clearly and confidently communicating your value. It's about making sure that your hard work and skills are recognized. Start small. Practice talking about your achievements without downplaying them. When someone compliments your work, resist the urge to deflect. Instead, say, thank you, I worked hard on that. In meetings, speak up about your contributions to projects. When applying for jobs or promotions, don't be afraid to highlight your skills and accomplishments. Remember, it's not bragging if it's true. You've worked hard to develop your skills and achieve what you have. You deserve recognition for that. Now let's talk about something that's crucial for anyone who wants to stop being the nice guy and start being successful: continuous learning and growth. Nice guys often get stuck in their comfort zones. They're afraid to try new things because they might fail. They're afraid to learn new skills because they might not be good at them right away. But in today's rapidly changing world, continuous learning isn't just an option, it's a necessity. The skills that are valuable today might be obsolete tomorrow. The only way to stay relevant, to stay valuable, is to keep learning and growing. So make a commitment to lifelong learning. Read books, take courses, attend workshops and seminars, seek out new experiences. Push yourself to learn something new every day. And remember, learning isn't just about acquiring new information. It's about applying what you learn. It's about using your new knowledge and skills to create value, to solve problems, to make a difference. Now, I want to address something that often comes up when we talk about stopping being the nice guy. Some people worry that they'll lose their values, that they'll become someone they don't like. But here's the thing. Stopping being the nice guy isn't about changing your values. It's about living your values more authentically. It's about having the courage to stand up for what you believe in, even when it's difficult. In fact, as you become more assertive, as you start standing up for yourself and going after what you want, you'll likely find that you're actually more able to live your values. You'll have the strength to do what's right, not just what's easy. So take some time to reflect on your values. What's truly important to you? What principles do you want to guide your life? Write them down. And then commit to living them, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. Now let's talk about something that nice guys often struggle with. Decision making. Nice guys are often paralyzed by decision making. They're so afraid of making the wrong choice, of disappointing someone, that they end up not making any choice at all. But here's the truth. Indecision is a decision. When you don't make a choice, you're choosing to let circumstances or other people decide for you. Successful people, on the other hand, are decisive. They gather the information they need, they consider their options, and then they make a decision. They understand that not making a decision is often worse than making the wrong decision. So practice being decisive. Start with small decisions. What to have for lunch? What to wear today? As you get more comfortable, move on to bigger decisions. And remember, there's no such thing as a perfect decision. Every decision has pros and cons. The key is to make the best decision you can with the information you have, and then commit to making it work. Now, I want to talk about something that's crucial for anyone who wants to stop being the nice guy and start being successful. Taking responsibility for your life. Nice guys often play the victim. They blame their circumstances, their upbringing, their boss, their partner for their lack of success. They feel like life is happening to them rather than feeling in control of their life. But successful people take full responsibility for their lives. They understand that while they can't control everything that happens to them, they can control how they respond. They know that they are the authors of their own lives. So start taking responsibility. Stop blaming others for your circumstances. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do to change this situation? What can I learn from this? How can I use this to grow? When you take responsibility for your life, you take back your power. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the creator of your life. Now, as we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a challenge, because knowledge without action is useless. Information without implementation is worthless. So here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, I want you to commit to one small change. Just one. Maybe it's saying no to one thing you don't want to do each day. Maybe it's speaking up in one meeting each week. Maybe it's spending 15 minutes each day working towards a personal goal. Whatever it is, choose one small change and commit to it for 30 days. Write it down. Tell someone about it. Make yourself accountable. And here's the key. Don't break the chain. Do it every single day for 30 days, no matter what. Even if you don't feel like it, even if it's hard, even if you're tired, do it anyway. Because here's the truth. Success isn't about making huge leaps. It's about taking small steps consistently over time. It's about building habits day by day that move you towards your goals. And as you do this, as you start to make these changes, as you start to stop being the nice guy and start being more authentic, more assertive, more successful, remember this. It's not going to be easy. You're going to face resistance. You're going to face setbacks. You're going to face moments of doubt. But that's okay, because anything worth doing is going to be challenging. Anything worth achieving is going to require effort and perseverance. So when you face those challenges, when you face those moments of doubt, remember why you started. Remember the life you're working towards. Remember the person you're becoming. And keep going. Keep pushing forward. Keep taking those small steps every single day. Because that's what it takes to create lasting change. That's what it takes to achieve real success. You have everything you need inside you right now to make these changes. You have the strength, the courage, the resilience. You just need to tap into it. You need to believe in yourself and take action. So starting right now, make a commitment to yourself. A commitment to stop being the nice guy and start being the authentic, assertive, successful person you're capable of being. A commitment to go after what you want, to stand up for yourself, to live your values boldly. Because here's the truths. The world needs you to step up. It needs your ideas, your passion, your unique gifts. It needs you to stop playing small and start playing big. So go out there and make it happen. Take that first step, and then the next, and the next, and before you know it, you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Take that step today. Your future self will thank you for it. Now go out there and make it happen. The world is waiting for you.